from Ekiti, in the Ekiti Southwest Local Government area of Ekiti State. I was born and brought up in Ibadan, capital of Oyo State, where I had my elementary education, primary school, secondary school, to junior secondary school level. After the creation of Ekiti State, my parents relocated back to Ekiti from Oyo State. So I followed them, I came to Ekiti State. I concluded my secondary education in Ogotu School, Ogotu Ekiti. Then after that, I moved to Ladoke Akazala University of Technology, Ogbomoso, where I read human anatomy. And after that, I had my youth service at the School of Nursing and Midwifery, Lafia, Nasarawa State. I stayed briefly in Abuja after then. I came back to Ekiti for some political activities. I was a unionist. I was student unionist while I was in school. I was at the time the National Public Relations Officer for Federation of Ekiti State Student Union. The following year, I was elected National Secretary, Federation of Ekiti State Student Union. So that gave me an opportunity to have a deep insight into what happens in the politics of Ekiti State. Even while I was schooling in Oyo State, I was always in Ekiti. I understood the politics. So I came back for some political activities there. It was from there that someone said I should send my CV. I sent my CV. They called me for a test and interview. It's Diamond Bank. And while I was in Diamond Bank training school, I dropped my permanent home address in Ogotu Ekiti. So when the posting was to be done, they posted us based on our permanent home address. Then I found myself back in Ekiti State, in Ekiti. Where I worked, I was with Diamond Bank between 2013 and 2019. I left Diamond Bank in 2019 at the verge of the merger with Access Bank to join Wema Bank, where I work presently. And I work presently in Ekiti, and I go to my hometown regularly. I'm a friend of my hometown. I don't know the idea, I don't know the belief that people should run away from their hometown. I don't run away from my hometown. If I'm opportune, I'll be going there almost every week. Because that is my own Jerusalem. That is where I'm made from. If we all decide to run from there, there's nobody that will come and make the place good for us. So I'm attached to the place. I understand the politics of the place, the culture, everything about it. I understand. I'm very close to my hometown. From the structure, the history of Ogotu rolls in my head like any other thing. I understand everything about it.
So you are not like those who run away from their hometowns because of rumors of witches and all that.
Like I said, I don't know that idea. I don't know that belief. I'm a Ekiti person. I believe in the Ekiti agenda, and the reason why I believe in the Ekiti agenda, I believe in Ogotu Ekiti agenda. I don't run away from home. I go there, I organize programs there, I organize scholarship awards for secondary school students, I do so many things. Whatever anybody is looking at, the life of man is the breath of God. It can only be taken by God, not any other person.
So you are not afraid of witches?
No.
Or you feel they don't exist in your locality?
Well, I won't rule out the fact that they exist. But then, it's the evolution of the present world we live in has changed so many things. So many things that we actually are used to attach to witches in time past, most of them were not actually spiritual use. And I will cite an example. In the olden days, when people give birth to a child and the child dies maybe before 7 days or after 1 month, and they start saying, oh, it's Abiku. In the kids, they say it's Mokije. And I've heard a whole lot about that. But I got to understand that when I came to Ekiti, when I lived in Ekiti, I had a better understanding. And I will cite this example. A young baby that was given birth to. And in the course, it was a non-delivery. And in the course of cutting the umbilical cord, it was one blade that was used 2 years ago, kept on the ceiling, that they will go and bring, and they will use to cut the umbilical cord. In the course of that, tetanus will come in, and the child will die within 7 days. They will say it's Mokiji. They will say it is the witches of the family house. It is the wizard of the family house. It's a spiritual problem or not. Those things are the things we attach more to spiritual problems. Like 2 AS that got married, that are giving birth to SS child, children, and they are dying. They keep saying, They are witches, they are wizards. I'm not saying they don't exist. They exist in their own world. But then I'm not seeing them after them.
So if there are other youths like you at the moment, even grown-up people who still have this phobia for witches and wizards in their hometowns, what would you want to tell them?
Well, I will just advise them. They should actually know what they are doing. They should know that that place was where they were made. Like somebody said, if he was not killed as a child, why would they be after him to kill him as an adult? Well, the phobia we know is based on the environment. They are more of environmental issues. We've had that mindset that these people are witches and wizards in my hometown. But I tell my friends, I tell my colleagues, I don't have phobia for that. And I encourage people, go home. Nobody is after you. If they want to go after you, they don't need you to come home. Yes, by the belief we have in them, if they are that powerful the way we assume that they are, then they have their own tentacles, their own satellites with which they watch anybody they want to watch anywhere. So if they are not coming home, that it is not the proximity to your hometown that determines if they are going to come after you or not. It is just a mindset, it's just a belief. And you know, if someone is going to his hometown for after a long time and the car breaks down on the road, you quickly say, and I said I'm not going. That car will have broken down if you are traveling somewhere else. Most of those things that we attach to spiritual use at times, that we attach to environmental factors, are not actually environmental use. They are not spiritual use. It's not that people are. There might be nobody somewhere running after anybody. But there are times that things will just happen. I will cite an example. Something happened where I was working before. We went home after close of business on a fateful day. We went home, and it was raining. It was inside that rain that one of the vehicles, official cars that we parked, caught fire. Without anybody touching it, without anybody going near it. But there was a mechanical issue that is common to Toyota when their ABS is failing, and that thing triggered fire in the car, and the car got burnt. The security had to come, get fire extinguisher, do one or two things. If that thing had happened to an individual and not a corporate body, there is no way that person will be convinced there is not a spiritual attack. It should definitely be attached to spiritual attack. And some other people will come and say, you need to do this, you need to do that, and we'll start running, taking paracetamol for things that are not headache. So those are things that happen at times. There are some coincidences, there are some issues, but because of the belief of the belief we have and the fear we know, we attach them to spiritual use. So most times they are not like that.
What's your view on this situation where somebody lives in Lagos or lives in Abuja or lives in Kano or Maiduguri, and all his children are grown there, bred there, and never come home? Maybe in 20 years they say, we are from so place, but we've never been there.
Unfortunately, that's what is killing the African culture. While I was very young, while I was still very young, we were living in Ibadan. Whatever will bring my dad home and my mom to Ekiti, and they're going to spend the night, we will come with them. We are three of us, we will come with them. We will come home with them. So from that time, I've had that attachment to my hometown, even while I was in Ibadan. I see it as an aberration. That you stay somewhere and you are laying claim to somewhere. Let's say you stay in Kano, like you said, you are laying claim of your own origin to Ekiti, and your children, none of your children has been to Ekiti before, giving them different ideologies. And when you create that fear in them, if they have cause to cut the path of an Ekiti person, what will come to their mindset is that this is what my dad said about these people, and they tend to run from those people. And you don't know why you're going to run from a benefactor, all because you have created fear. If you live in Kano is a commercial city of a commercial capital of the north, because Kano people were there to make Kano what it is. Aside Lagos and Abuja that are federal capital territories, and let's say Ibadan and some other capitals of the then western eastern Nigerians. All other communities that are good today were made by their own people. After Babalola went back to where he went to, was in Ibadan. He became a successful man. He came back to Ekiti. And he was offered land free of charge to build Afro Babalola University in Oyo State. But he felt, no, Ekiti is my own country home. Why not go back home? And he's here today. If he's not here, who will make Ekiti for us? Who will make Ekiti for us? People running. I just need. We need to change our mentality. We need to change our orientation that we live by on this issue of running away from our home, running away from our town, running away from our state, creating phobia in our children, creating phobia in our people, and even to the extent that when they see people, when a Yoruba person see another Yoruba person in the north, instead of saying a cast, will just say so. No, he doesn't even want to try to bring in the relationship between Yoruba. But if you look at the northerners, if you are not a northerner, but if you understand the Hausa very well, and you are to buy, let's say, albosa or anything from an Hausa person, if you speak in Hausa to him, you are going to get it at a cheaper rate. That means they are not ashamed of their hometown. That means they are of their language. And you see them, and that is why during Salahs, so many things are always scarce, because they go back home. They will go back home. So what is it that is chasing us from coming home? So why that mentality is something that we need to correct and address. I think I see it as an aberration.
That leads me to this observation in politics in Ekiti State. Many people come to Ekiti when it is time for political campaign and all the effort to win nominations and all that. And we have a situation where those who are based in Ekiti are complaining about those who come from outside, that we want home base. So there is this division. Those who are just coming at the time of politics, they are seen as opportunists somehow. So what's your view about this?
Well, to me, I will see them as opportunists also. You cannot be a solution to a problem you are not part of. A problem you don't understand, you cannot be a solution to it. You couldn't have lived your life in Port Harcourt all through, or in maybe in US all through, and you are coming back to solve an Ekiti problem. It's not going to work, and that is where most of them are from. If you look at the success rate of that, it is always very, very minute. I've seen a whole lot of them that will come home and contest election. They will bring money, and Ekiti people will say, okay, don't worry, bring your money. They will collect the money, they will spend the money, and the person will not get the tickets. Even the ticket of the party, let alone going into the general election. Most of them have said, okay, if I'm not going to get the ticket of the two major political parties, I will go and get a ticket of one party, believing that money will do it. Winning elections, success at political campaigns are based on acceptability. And acceptability most times comes from your popularity among your people. If you are not popular, you will just come, and in fact you will go the wrong direction. People will see it as an opportunity to milk the person, and if care is not taken, they will milk the person dry. I knew someone who came to contest election in Ekiti State in 2018. After everything, spent money, traveled the 16 local government, did help, went up and down, lost woefully because the person is not known. He has spent the better part of his life in US. He came back to Nigeria, he stayed in Ogun State, where he has a farm. He has been living in Ogun State since he came back to Nigeria, shuttling between Ogun and Lagos. And when election came, he came back to Ekiti State to contest the election. He lost woefully. With that, I will not rule out the fact that some of them still succeed. But if you look at those who succeed, they don't succeed because they have the money. They don't succeed because they succeed most times because there's a particular link that they are working with. Most likely they have the nod of their political party at the top notch. If you look at the history of Ekiti State, there are so many histories in Ekiti State, the political history of Ekiti State that we don't want us to go to. From the elections between Engineer Shegun Oni and Dr. Kayode Fayemi the first time, the second coming of Mr. Yafaoshi, so many other things like that. If we look at those things, we'll be able to come to a reasonable conclusion on why a known person will always be better, will always be more accepted than people who come from their foreign land and say, we want to do this, we want to do that. It is just not ideal. And it's not even good for our politics. When late Alhaji Musa Yar'Adua was sick, the former president, somebody came out and said he was going to treat him. And the media aide asked that person, what is the nature of the sickness? And the person said, when it's diagnosed, they will know. How do you now come and say you're going to treat a sickness you don't even know? What if it's not your area of specialization? And that is the problem we have. People come in to say they want to come and solve a problem as a people in Ekiti State. Meanwhile, they don't know about the problem. All they do is, yes, this is how it works in Lagos, this is how it's going to work. If you are trying to solve the transportation problem of Ekiti State with BRT, you're going to cause more havoc. Meanwhile, that has worked in Lagos. But it cannot work in Ekiti because we have our own peculiar problem, which is different from that of Lagos. We are not too overpopulated for our transport scheme to demand BRT. So if someone has copied that idea from Lagos and is coming to Ekiti to come and say, oh no, we're going to do this, it is not going to work. So that is why those people who import foreign ideas to come and solve our problem can never be a solution to our problem politically, culturally, socially, financially, and even economically.
People of the farm.